In this video, I'm going to cover 5 activators of psychological testosterone. Well, first of all, what is psychological testosterone? Psychological testosterone it applies both men and women. But what it really is your ability and desire to go pursue a goal and achieve. Think about it like going to the gym. When you have high testosterone, you can go crush a difficult workout and feel reward from that workout. Now, if you have low testosterone, you just crush a workout and you feel like, you feel like crap. So, what is psychological testosterone? Because you've got physiology, you've got your physical testosterone, which you have to take care of, but you also need psychological testosterone. And that is in your mind. That is that desire to go and pursue and achieve and to bring the reality you envision into your life. That's psychological testosterone. And every single person who is an achiever that you see, they have psychological testosterone. Now, I said at the start of the video, I'm going to give you 5 ways to activate psychological testosterone. Now, this is not an exhaustive list. I may write a book on this, but it is a list to activate that. Because here's the key thing. You have to activate this. You have to actually get the cogs in your mind moving. So the first way to activate it is simply desire. Now, desire sounds really simple, but all progress starts with desire. Now, that desire may be to get out of pain, or it may be to pursue your potential. Either way, you have desire. And desire unlocks a degree of psychological testosterone. Because if you have a big enough desire, you will go do things you wouldn't normally do. If you have a big desire to get out of poverty, if you've got a big desire to take your business from 6 figures to 7 figures, that big desire is going to drive you to do things you otherwise wouldn't. Other people couldn't get themselves to do those things. And it's not only your physiology, it's not only that testosterone, but it's the psychological testosterone to go and pursue and to feel reward in the face of pushing your limits, in the face of actually pushing something big, having a big goal. Okay? So I hope you're tracking here, because you can be trying to get out of pain, but part of that desire is also to reach your potential. Maybe Tom Brady was driven by, the pain of not winning his Super Bowl for his first, but, towards maybe his last one, maybe he was being driven out of a desire to pursue his potential to be the best in the world. And I know there's a lot of people watching this video who maybe you want to be the best. A lot of people don't really want to be the best, but they do want to achieve. And if you want to achieve, which by the way, it's been so denigrated in our society, the actual desire to achieve, to go out there and actually want a better life. I mean, since when was that a controversial thing, guys? To actually want a better life for yourself, for your family, for your children, for your community. Like when was that controversial? But I'll tell you, so much of the psychological testosterone in our country has been drained. It's been evaporated. Just like we have falling testosterone levels, we've had falling psychological testosterone levels. And that's I say psychological testosterone because my book that I wrote, I had a doctor friend. He read it, loved it, sent me a review, and we were chatting on the phone. And he was like, dude, I tell people, I recommend this book all the time. And I tell them it's like psychological testosterone. And so that's where that term actually came from. I'm not trying to claim that I came up with it, but I am running with it. And I love it. So guys, the 5, we're not the 5, just 5 activators for psychological testosterone. Now, the next one is belief. And I know what you're thinking. How does belief activate psychological testosterone? Well, I'll tell you, because if you have beliefs, if you don't believe that you can go, that you can achieve, that you can actually do something, then you won't. You will stop yourself before you even begin. You will create a self-fulfilling prophecy. And without that, you can see so many companies that think they have to do something one way, that think they have to be a certain way, and they can never grow because they're held back by their beliefs. Are you tracking there? So beliefs massively affect your psychological testosterone. And I'll tell you, there was a few years ago, I was going to an event with by one of my coaches, Coach Michael Burt, and it activated my psychological testosterone because he showed me how big something could be. I think we were in a room with maybe 30 people, but I think everybody paid $5,000 to be there. So what's that? $150,000 that he got for 1.5 days of coaching. For me, I was like, okay, this is cool. I like this. This activated something in me because it shifted my belief of what's possible. I said, man, I can do this. I can do this, right? Because I've been coaching people since I was young already. I just didn't even know what I was doing. But exposure to somebody doing something big shifted those beliefs, which allowed me to then run with it and cast a bigger vision for my future. I wouldn't have been able to do that without it. Wouldn't have been able to have that vision. So you've got desire. You've got to have desire, and you can't really have desire if you don't believe it's possible because you have no hope. So those are two ways. Now, another way that you can activate psychological testosterone is by emphasizing the wins. And what I mean is you have to maintain a forward position, a forward posture, forward momentum. Why? Because you've got a team that's winning. When you're winning in life, what do you want to do? You just want to keep on winning. When you're winning in the gym, when you're winning at work, dude, you roll in there, you strut around like a stud, you speak with confidence, you feel good, and what does that do? It reinforces and bolsters your psychological testosterone, which creates a virtuous cycle. Now, the problem that a lot of people fall into is they have a bad day, or they emphasize on the sale they didn't make, or they emphasize on the money that they lost, or the bad decision they made. And it starts a vicious cycle down. And all that does is lowers the psychological testosterone, and then you fall into that loop. And if you don't break that pattern, then you've got to do something to break the pattern to get back up on a virtuous cycle. And maybe I'll make another video on different ways to do that because it's super easy. But breaking patterns is so fundamental, and it's something that is so important, especially in coaching or just in life in general, because people have patterns. And if you know a few strategies on how to get yourself unstuck, how to get yourself to break out of a pattern, out of a thought process, to interrupt that CD going around, you can massively improve your life quickly. And it's phenomenal. Now, another way to activate your psychological testosterone, just upgrade your peer group or get rid of a certain peer group. Because Jim Rohn said you are the sum of the 5 people that you spend the most time around with. And I really believe that's true. Now, if you get around some high-level people, you're going to behave differently. That's why people, when they join the Marines, they join a military organization, their standards get raised automatically, involuntary. They don't even have to do it. It's just forced upon them. And when they have to rise to the occasion, they do. And that's the value of changing your peer group. And there's two sides of it. Like, you'll have to cut people out, and you'll have to find the new people. But I guarantee you get around the right people, oh, dude, it's going to activate psychological testosterone like you have never even imagined. I'm telling you, dude, I went on a camping trip a few months ago, and I was just around a bunch of other studs, and I'm already pretty fit, but I'm just looking around, and I'm like, oh, dude, I got to get jacked. Like, I got to get more shredded. Why? Because my competitive spirit comes out. And that's not just only the physical testosterone. Psychological testosterone, baby. it's in there, and that competitive spirit comes out. And I believe it's so valuable to business owners and entrepreneurs who need that activated. And so many people have become so dormant in their life and sedated. And I don't understand it, but it's how it is. And you've got to break those patterns. So the other way, peer group. Now, the last one, 5 activators, is to seek mentorship. Because every great player, every great artist, every great actor, businessman, president, all had some degree of mentors, some degree of roundtable. It doesn't have to be a direct mentor. It can be a roundtable. There were people that gather their own roundtable. Napoleon Hill talks about it. Gathering, I think it's Napoleon Hill. Guys, I read a ton of books and sometimes I get them confused. But talks about gathering a table. And imagine you're sitting at a table and over there you really admire Abraham Lincoln. And over there you really admire, I don't know, Nikola Tesla. And over there maybe you've got Jesus or someone like that. And you've got a group of, 12, 20, however many people you want, and you actually just have them advise you. Now, I think having real advisors is very helpful, but also just asking, how would this person handle this? So this guy, Todd Herman, wrote this book, The Alter Ego Effect, and he talks about creating an alter ego. It's a great book. And by creating that alter ego, you can tap into power that you may not have already had. Or you can tap into a side of you that may be easier to access, that you can actually create this version of yourself. So anyways, I'm going sidetracked there. Anyways, the 5 that we've got right here, you got to get desire, whether, pain or potential. You got to get belief. You got to get forward momentum. You got to get your peer group right. And then you've got to seek some sort of mentorship. And then I'm going to give you a bonus one right here. And yeah, I'm reading these because, I didn't feel like trying to memorize them because they're not exhaustive. Like I said, I'm going to have to think about this more. I may write a book about it, but I've got a bonus here. And if you really want to activate your psychological testosterone, you got to get in the room. You got to go to an event, to some sort of something that pushes you, that puts you outside your comfort zone, that has some sort of value you don't intrinsically have. So, whatever that may be, going to an event is one of the fastest ways to level up your psychological testosterone and have it up for a good bit. Depending on who you are, some people fade from the event, some people don't take action. But if you really go to an event correctly and you network with people, like I'm still talking to a lot of the guys that I went on that camping trip with. First time ever meeting them. But now we have this brotherhood, we have this connection, and it's so important, man. And they're such good dudes. And, I just want whoever's on the other side of this camera, whatever you need, whether you're a guy and you need a guy's event, or you're a girl and you need a girl's event, or maybe you don't need any of those. Maybe you need to go to whatever it is, just figure out what you need to do to activate that psychological testosterone so that you'll get that drive, that instinct to pursue whatever big goal you're trying to accomplish in life. And I think you'll see that you have far more potential than you realize, and you're far more capable. And yes, it will be a lot of work. And that's just okay. Because when you're prepared for it, and when you feel reward from work, once you realize that adversity is not the adversary, it gets really easy. Guys, hope this helped. By the way, my name's Kalen Compass. I don't like long intros. I don't like any of that stuff. I'll put a link to my book down in the thing. Yeah, we'll chat soon. Be great, everyone.